Hello and welcome back to BS Rugby. The Six Nations is finally underway. Finally, the greatest tournament has kicked off this weekend. As a Welshman, it's not been the greatest weekend, but we've already seen Ireland beat Wales and we've seen the Scots retain the Calcutta Cup after beating Scotland, of course, at Murrayfield last night. But today's game sees Italy head over to the Stade de France to take on France, one of the favourites for the tournament after their incredible autumn campaign. They'll be looking to try and win the Six Nations for the first time in over a decade, in fact. But they've got to get through Italy first of all. So here is my preview and my predictions ahead of this clash at the Stade de France. If you enjoy, make sure to leave a like, comment your predictions down below, and of course, hit that subscribe button as well. Come join the channel. Will be really good to get you on board, and of course, get your predictions in the comments down below. I'm really interested to hear who you think's going to win. Let's start off then by having a look at the history between the two sides and have a look at the last 5 games between the two sides. Last year, they faced each other, of course, in the Six Nations. That was the last time they faced. Exactly a year to today. France winning that one by 50 points to 10 at the Stadio Olimpico. Of course, it was behind closed doors. The game before that was in the Autumn Nations Cup back in 2020. Again, France winning that one by 36 points to 5. In the Six Nations of 2020, we saw France beat Italy by 35 points to 22. So that's one of the closest scores that we've seen between the two sides over recent years. And the game before that was a World Cup warm-up, France winning that 47 points to 19 down in Marseille. And the game just before that, the 5th game back in 2019, Six Nations 2019, France getting a very scrappy 25 points to 14 win there. When was the last time that Italy beat France? Well, you'd have to go back nearly a decade, back to 2013, February 2013, as Italy won a very historic game, winning that one by 23 points to 18 in the Six Nations of 2013. They've only had one win after that. And in fact, you have to go all the way back to 1997 to a game in Grenoble, to a time that Italy last beat France in France, beating them by 40 points to 32 in the European final in 1997. They've never managed to win at the Stade de France, which is, of course, where today's game is taking place. Both teams have been announced, so we'll go through them. Caveats, I ain't French, I ain't Italian, but I will try my best to get through them and let you know. Of course, France had a few COVID cases in their camp, so it's not going to be as full strength as they would want it to be. So let's go through it nonetheless. Starting with the front row, we got Cyril Baille starting in the front row with Julien Marchand and Antonio. So huge front row there. Woki and Wilhelms are in the locks with Yelonk, Aldrit and Cretan playing in the back row. You'll notice there's no Charles Olivon. He is out injured, which means that Antoine Dupont takes over the captaincy and plays at 9 today alongside Roman Untimac. Is that the best halfback pairing in the world? Let me know in the comments, of course. Villiers plays on the wing alongside Damien Penaud with a centre partnership of Dante and Ficou, no Virimi Vakatawa. And, of course, the very, very impressive youngster in Jaminet, only 22 years old. He's got 95% kicking success rate in the top 14 for Perpignan this season. He will be doing the kicking duties, you'd think. On the bench then, we have Malvaca, Gross and Bamba. Those are the front row options, with Tao Fafrena as a lock option and Gross for the back row. Luca, Morfena and Ramos are the back 3 options. Heading over to Italy once again. I'll try my best with the pronunciation. Starting with the front row, then we got Danilo Fischetti playing with Gianmarco Lucchesi and Pasquale. In the locks, we have Nicolo Cannone and Federico Ruzza. In the back row, Sebastian Negri, huge fan of his big ball carrier. Keep an eye out on him. Michele Lamaro captains the team in this year's Six Nations alongside Tao Halafani as well. If we head over to the halfback pairings then, Stephen Varney and Paolo Garbisi, very young halfback pairing there. So we'll see how they get on. The wings then are Monty Ioane. Keep an eye out on him. He's been electric for Benetton in the URC this season, and he is alongside Tommaso Moncello. In the centres, we have Ignacio Brex and Marco Zanon, with Eduardo Padovani playing at fullback. Of course, there is no place for Minozzi in this year's squad. On the bench, then, that leaves Fiver, Neymar and Zilocchi. Marco Fusa and Giovanni Pettinelli are with Manuel Zulian, Callum Brayley and Leonardo Marin. Of course, Kieran Crowley, this will be his first Six Nations. He, of course, was there for the Autumns, and this will be an opportunity for him to get his first taste of Six Nations as a head coach. Let's talk about some of the big players that are going to take a poll. We've already mentioned the two of them. It is Antoine Dupont and, of course, Roman Untitled. Both of them are at the top of their games. And in my opinion, Antoine Dupont is the best player in the world right now. I just love the way that he's able to dictate a game, control everything from 9. The fact that he is so comfortable in defence as well is really impressive. He's quite a small guy, but very, very physical. Questionable fashion choices, but he is an excellent player, really is. He definitely is the best player in the world right now. And then alongside him, Roman Untitled, who probably is the best looking rugby player in the world, if I can say that. So I'm really excited to see what them two can do in this game. I think Untitled won't have as much control of the game because of Dupont, who's on the inside of him. But remember, Untitled can play at centre as well, so he has that ability to be so comfortable in defence, in attack. He knows what he has to do, and he's so comfortable in that area. Talking about Italy, the two players to keep an eye out are these two, the halfbacks, Stephen Varney and Paolo Gavbisi. Interestingly, Stephen Varney was eligible to play for Wales, born in Pembrokeshire, plays for Gloucester, but qualifies for Italy through his grandmother. He now has 9 caps for his country, and it was an interesting choice for him to go and play there, but it seems it's paid off because he's playing there. He's the first choice 9 at Italy, and he's very young. He's only 20, I think, years old. Gavbisi's playing at Montpellier, very much an attack-minded number 10, will look to use the 50-22 rule as much as possible, and I think that's going to be really important for Italy today. So how do I see the game going? I mean, France are going to win, and the question is by how much. That's how much are France going to get. Although it's not a full-strength French squad, I still expect them to put quite a few points on this Italy team. For Italy, from their perspective, they have to be in the game in the first 20 minutes. They cannot concede a couple of tries in that first 20 minutes. If they do, it could be a cricket score because their heads will drop. They're a young team. They won't have the experience to be able to deal with those kind of situations, and France will just steamroll through them and get try after try after try. Really important in that first 20 minutes that they make it difficult for France, especially at the breakdown, that they compete there, that they slow their ball down, that they try and disrupt Dupont as much as possible, if you can do that. And they just put pressure on this French team. Try and get the French crowd to turn on the French side, which they have done in the past, and just try and get in the game, make it scrappy, and try and just stick in there. It's going to be really, really tough for them. For France, they're just going to want to dictate the game on there, and I assume that that's what's going to happen. They've got huge ball carriers in that front row who will just get them over the gain line. The ball will be presented to Dupont, and then you look at the back row and the options they've got there. It's going to be so difficult to stop that, isn't it? And I think someone like a Gael Fickou in the centre is massively underappreciated. I don't think people realise how good this guy is. I remember when he burst onto the scene, scoring a try against England at the Stade de France, and now he's one of the senior players in the squad. So what are my predictions for this game? Well, to put it simply, France are going to win. They're going to get a bonus point. I'm going to say France. I don't think they'll hit the 50 because it's the first game. I'm going to say France 40, Italy 6, 7, maybe. Maybe Italy will get a try, a scrappy try. Maybe they'll get one from a driving maul or something like that. But I just think that France is going to have way too much for this Italian side, and they will sit next to the top of the table alongside the Irish, all set for a huge clash next week, of course, at the Stade de France. But there we go. That is my preview and my predictions for this game. Unfortunately, there'll be no watch along today. I did 2 yesterday, and quite simply, I'm absolutely shattered. But we will be back next week for watch-alongs. But loads of videos coming out over the next week. We're going to break down the weekend's action in a bit more detail over the next couple of days. And, of course, we're going to look forward to next weekend's as well. Make sure if you have enjoyed, though, leave a like on the video, comment your predictions down below, and hit that subscribe button as well. So much content coming out, as I said. And thank you so much to all of those who have joined the channel over the last weekend or so with the Six Nations kicking off. Welcome and enjoy the rugby chat. I hope you do enjoy. Thank you very much for watching. As always, enjoy the rugby this afternoon. Take care of yourselves,